Last year in 2025, it was a big year for horror, and I watched a lot of horror, and some of these films ended up being pretty good. So, since I failed to do one for last year, I've decided to make it up and do one for 2025. Here are my favorite horror flicks of 2025.
Big T's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews.
So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and I'm here with a special ranking. It's going to be on my 2025 top favorite horror flicks of 2025. Well, that's what I really mean. Anyway, this was tough to decide. I've decided not to do this by how I ranked them because the three horror films that made my top films of 2025 are on here, but they'll be in different spots. I've decided not to do them by the way that the scores I gave, but actually the way I by how I like them for its thrills, its scares, and well, its kills and what have you. So I thought this would be fine, what have you, or how much I thought they were decent enough. I picked 12 films. This was tough though. Now, before I go into the ranking, let me give four honorable mentions. Here are four films that didn't make it. They are Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Hell of a Summer, Fear Street, Prom Queen, and The Ugly Stepsister, which, believe me, I finally got to watch the English dub of it. But here they are. Here's the top 12. So get ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. So sit back, relax, and here we go. Coming in at number 12 is I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, I've seen this twice. Well, it's fine and what have you, but I still liked it for obvious reasons. It really surprised me with the return, not just the return of Jennifer Love Hewitt, but also Freddie Prinze Jr. and well, someone else. I still don't want to take because I didn't want to mention that in my spoiler-free review of this film. But I decided to have it low though at the bottom of the chain of this ranking. But I still think this is a pretty decent legacy horror film. Look, I understand y'all have your own opinions about this film, and I will remain loyal to them and what have you. I'm sure a lot of you don't like this, and well, I'm understanding. But the rest of the cast, well, it's not too bad. At least the kills were kind of a little bit more bloodier and what have you. But what I Know What You Did Last Summer requel, it's fine. I liked it for certain reasons, but check out my review of it if you haven't seen it yet. Now, coming in at number 11 is Hard Eyes. Now, I gotta say, this film proved to be a shocking film. Well, I really kind of didn't think it was as close to being as great of a Valentine slasher like my Bloody Valentine was, but this comes almost close though. I mean, I liked the setting of it and what have you, but it proved to be pretty terrifying and what have you. I mean, some of the cast was pretty good, but I've only seen this once and I haven't, and it's been months ago. But it's overall a fine film, and the horror eyes killer is, yeah, terrifying, definitely. And coming in at number 10 is The Monkey. Now, Oscar Perkins did a pretty good job in directing this here story, and he also wrote the screenplay for this. I gotta say, once someone encounters this mysterious wind-up toy of a monkey, a series of outrageous deaths really occur. Especially one of them restaurant with guy cutting up the food and what have you, and one being the pool kill. That was pretty blooming awesome. But I had to admit that the monkey proved to be more terrifying than what I could have expected. I mean, it may not have been a great, well, completely great, completely, but I still appreciate for all of some of its pretty good kills in my view. Some of them just happen so fast in my view. But in the end, I think The Monkey's a pretty awesome film. I really did enjoy it. Next at number 9 is Black Phone 2. Now, I recently did a spoiler free review of this before I went on to make this ranking. So I just decided to make this a last minute entry since it may be a while before I see some of the last few horror flicks that came out last year, like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and what have you. So I figured this would be a perfect film. And while it's not quite as good as the first one, if you didn't see my review of this, I still liked it though. I mean, we have Scott Derrickson back on board as director, and Mason Thames and Madeline McGraw are both back. Same with Ethan Hawke as the grabber, and Jeremy Davies as Thames and McGraw's dad. Well, character's dad, excuse me. But I gotta say, this was a little more mysterious, but really terrifying in some parts. I still kind of prefer the first one, though, but this one came a little close, but not quite much. Anyway, check out my recent spoiler-free review of this film, please. It would help me out if you checked it out. But anyway, I think Black Phone 2 was pretty good and what have you. Now, coming in at number 8 is Companion. Now, I thought this was a pretty good sci-fi horror thriller, and I think this was really something. I gotta say, I like the setting at this here lakeside estate, and with this group of friends find themselves entangled in a web of secrets, deception, and advanced technology because one of them is actually an android. But I have to admit, the cast is pretty good and what have you, and let's see, Zach Krager, who worked on well, one of the films which is still had did a pretty good job in working on this, but he was, I think he was producer of the film. I gotta say, it was pretty shocking and pretty thrilling and what have you. I think Campaign was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it for what it offered. And coming in, number 7 is Together. Now, I've got to say, this was probably one of the most freakiest and creepiest spine tingling body horror flicks I have ever seen in some time. But I really like the performances we got from Dave Franco and Alison Brie. They did an excellent job as two people who are using their relationship and find themselves at the crossroads as they move to the country. And well, apparently they encounter well, a mysterious unnatural force that threatens to corrupt their lives, love, and their flesh by combining themselves together. I gotta say, this film was really more freaky and creepy and what have you than what you could expect, or even I could have expected. But still, I wasn't really freaked out much by it, but it was kind of strange though. But together, it ended up being a pretty good horror flick, and I that was pretty good. And next at number 6 is 'The Conjuring: Last Rites.' Now, this film, considering it was being directed by the same guy who directed the last film, The Devil Made Me Do It, Michael Chaves, well, I think this was a little bit of a redemption for the franchise from that film. We have Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga back as Anne Lorraine Warren. And this time they really take on their last terrifying case that involved mysterious entities they must confront, especially when they involve their daughter Judy, who's well apparently about to get hitched. But it really surprised me, even with some cameos from people who appeared in the previous films. Yeah, that's one thing I just want to give you a heads up on. And that's one thing I didn't want to mention in my review of the film, which was spoiler free. But if you, but I only taken the time to watch that review, congratulations, you now know. But anyway, I wish them the best of luck in doing more of this. But I've heard they're going to try and do prequels and what have you. I've been hearing one is where the Warrens may be tackling the Amityville case, but well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But it could happen. But anyway, The Conjuring: Last Rites. I think that's what put the Conjuring franchise back on track. Definitely. Next at number 5 is 28 Years Later. Now, I really thought this was pretty good, and I liked it just a little bit over 28 weeks later, but but it even surpassed my even thought of 28 Days Later. This one was even more intenser, more brutal, with some of the people who fell victim to the rage virus. Yeah, really some. It was good to have Danny Boyle back on board as director. Anyway, this film had a pretty good cast, and it just more recently got a continuation this week. Well, this past weekend with the Bone Temple, which unfortunately it did not open so strong enough. I had thought it would, but it looks like I get taken for something I'm not. But you know what they say, nobody's perfect, and sometimes I wish y'all would come to realize that you do not are you not aware that it's hard for a film to do better than what a film's already been doing as it's when it's been slaughtering the box office for weeks. Not that I'm trying to say anything that I have anything against because Avatar Fire and Ash was a good movie when I saw it. I've said, but still, give some other movies a chance. All right, don't be ashamed of yourselves. That film's gotten more better reviews than this one. But I'll see that when it comes to Netflix, just like it did with this one. 28 years later, a pretty good sequel. It proved to have a little bit of power in it, especially with the victims of the rage virus and what have you. Some of the scenes with the kills and what have you, those were pretty good. So I gotta give it credit for what it had to offer. It was good. Now coming in at number 4 is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Well, I have to say this was a real terrifying take on the classic tale itself. Del Toro really nails it with his direction and writing of the story. Oscar Isaac did a great job as Victor Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi as the creature, definitely. Mia Goth was good, and so was Christopher Waltz. I had to say the cast was pretty good. This was a real eerie, terrifying take on Mary Shelley's classic monster tale itself. And I thought it was pretty good. But what can I say? It's just terrifying. That's about all I can say. Check out my review if you haven't seen it yet. Now for the top 3, and it's the 3 films that made my best of 2025 ranking, but they are just in a different order, though, okay? And it's just by the way I like them. But not by my scores, but these all got 5 stars by me. So coming in at number 3 is Weapons. Zach Krieger's intensifying terror tale about, well, well, every child from this teacher's class woke up at 2:17 a.m. They got out of bed and went downstairs, opened the front door, and walked into the dark. And they never came back. All but one. The community of the sea is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. And let me tell you, it was a really creepy one. But anyway, this is a real creepy, terrifying terror tale that was really something. Zach Krieger definitely did a great job with his direction and writing for this story. It was great. I liked the performances we got from Julia Garner and Josh Brolin. Yeah, they were all really good. But what else can I say? Weapons proved to be a just so wow, especially with some parts in it was really freaky and creepy and all that jazz. I thought Weapons was a pretty good film. It did rank a little bit higher. If you saw my best of ranking, it came in 5th place. But of the whole, I found Weapons to be pretty good in my view. So that's why I came in 3rd place. And coming in at number 2, this kind of was a tough one to decide. I picked one that was still even good, and it was the film that came in 6th in the best of 2025 ranking of mine, and that is Sinners, which more recently has now become a big winner at some recent award ceremonies. I gotta say, this film was pretty terrifying and what have you. Ryan Coogler, who directed Creed and Black Panther, reteamed with Michael B. Jordan. Both did exceptionally good job on this. This does have a pretty good cast and what have you, aside from even Mr. Jordan, including Haley Steinfeld, Jack O'Connell, um, Delroy Lindo. Yeah, they were all pretty good. I gotta say, I liked the setting and what have you, but it proved to be pretty bloody awesome with the vampires and what have you. I gotta say, it was really something. I'm really surprised that this film has been doing well at the awards. Well, we'll see how well it does for the Oscars as well when that time comes. But Sinners is a pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it, especially for what I had to offer. Even the music and what have you, it proved to be pretty good as well. But if Sinners is second, then my number one favorite horror film of 2025, may have come in 10th on my best stuff ranking, but it comes in as number one because I saw it twice and I liked it more than the other film that I saw twice, which was last summer. I know what you did last summer, but this was way better, and it's a true sequel, a true legacy sequel. Well, while it may not have any characters from the other films, except for one in his final film. So my number one top horror film of 2025 is none other than Final Destination Bloodlines. Yep, I gotta say, this is definitely the definition of a good horror film with its intensifying kills. This had good kills, and I think this is probably, in my opinion, top out even the original. It's the best Final Destination film that ever came to this day since we got the franchise 25 years ago. Well, now going on 26. But with what I've seen of it, I thought it was pretty awesome. About a college student who had premonition about what happened with one of our family members a long time ago. And well, she heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. I gotta say, the kills were pretty bloody and what have you, intensifying. It was pretty darn awesome. I mean, and we have Tony Todd in his final performance. Yes, because he passed away right after this film was finished and what have you. So this was his last film. And I gotta say, he was awesome. It has a pretty good cast and what have you. I think the kills were pretty awesome. I can't really decide which one's my favorite, but I actually like them, a lot of them. This is probably one cool horror flick, and this is one you need to watch. You don't know what you're missing. What have you? So, Final Destination Bloodlines, I think is pretty awesome. And that ranks as my number one favorite horror flick of 2025. So there you go. What's your favorite horror flick of 2025? Give me your number one pick, your top five, your top 10. Leave them for me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. And join me later tonight when I bring to you what could be a re-review or maybe a revisit review. I'd have to recheck on High School Musicals. So if you like this, check out these other, well, my reviews of the top three films in this here ranking. The upper left-hand corner is my review of Final Destination Bloodlines. The upper right-hand corner is my review of Sinners. And the bottom left-hand corner is my review of Weapons. They're all spoiler-free. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.